Great to have you with us, so close to the finals. I know, having chatted to you in the past, you love this as much as anyone. Obviously, this one has a special meaning for you. Your last one as the Collingwood coach going in. How are you feeling?
As nervous as the other times. It's as Lloydie said and as Scotty said, it's one of those moments that you play for. All the boys, they get themselves up for these final series. Lloydie, you're right. On paper, those teams look fantastic, and inevitably we have a blowout, one game or the other, and it tends to be that the seventh and eighth side that fall out, you go, well, they really didn't deserve to be there.
Make me look silly, or make you look silly. Let's have a look what you do in a training. Wear the right footwear, Mick. How many times you tell your players, wear the right footwear? Scotty Waters, very well trained, didn't even take the piss out of you.
No, I've got away with that wearing boots all year. That shows about how wet the winter has been.
All right,
I'm filthy on that, by the way.
Now, you know, a lot of people reckon you have mellowed as the day's gone since you become a granddad and all that sort of stuff. Have a look at this for a look.
Bit of Zoolander.
Oh, I love this one. Look, where is he? Where is he? There he is. Come here. How long was it from the time Simon Buckley stuffed up to the time you got to him? Just how long were you festering there?
Oh, it was a couple of moments through the break that I thought I'd better let him know. And he bore it well and took it well and went out and did something about it.
All right, well, let's get into some more serious matters pertaining to Collingwood. Let's see, Scotty, you touched on it at the top regarding the flag favourites. No one's worrying too much about last week, it seems, Scotty, because, look, Geelong have come in a little bit, but the Pies are still the overwhelming favourite from Hawthorn, and then way back to the rest. West Coast, St Kilda, Carlton have drifted all the way out to 21, Sydney, and no one gives Sydney or Essendon much chance at all. Mick, what did happen last Friday night from your point of view?
Well, I've said it before, Geelong played very good football, very, very good football. There's a lot of... if I say all of it, you downgrade the result that Geelong deserved that victory. It was... I think the components that make up a football mind, the physical, mental and the emotional state. And I just not 100% sure that players, when they go through what they know is in front of them, sometimes they have self-preservation and sometimes they are looking to the next week and so forth. I would suspect that most games are won above the shoulders. And at quarter time, I had this feeling, I know we're in front, but there wasn't a lot of life in the eyes. And let's hope we get over it very quickly.
Mick, speaking of self-preservation, which you just said, one of your best players, Scotty Pendlebury, have a look at this vision, and love to hear what you had to say to Scotty about this through the week when it comes up at the match review. Were you strong on Scott through the week in regards to that effort? Not at all. Not at all. So that's all about just.
He would say, and I hope he says, I misread it. I thought that something else was going to happen. It was coming to me. Scotty doesn't play safety football. It may well appear that way. I would be loath to criticise a player that's got the runs on the board. I think we can say he misread that. And quite frankly, Lloydie, that game was hardly discussed, right or wrong. People will say, well, why didn't you? We looked at certain characteristics of that game. I think that when you get this end of the season and you've had a reasonable year, the rear vision mirror is not worth looking at. It's what's in front of you. And we're more interested in playing West Coast and dwelling on something that was out of character, albeit the fact that Geelong are a very, very good football side.
Is there anything in what Geelong have been able to achieve then in beating you twice this year and some of the characteristics of the statistics, how much they had the ball in the forward half? Well,
we'll analyse that if we have a chance to play them again. I really don't want to get caught up in that game. The first game, I think it was 62 to 42 inside, and we lost by 3 points. I thought we did things reasonably well, and the other things we did quite poorly in that game. That's if we're starting to pluck games out of 24 rounds and you look at the same club that's beaten us twice, yeah, we'll look at that when and if we actually play them again. But I don't see it as a major concern right now to start worrying about Geelong. I think we've got enough issues in front of us in the next couple of days.
No doubt.
The 8 sides are worthy contenders, and I think it's almost like the last few weeks, the top 4 sides would be thinking, where are the finals? We've seen we've gone forever, 24 weeks. The sides that fought hard to get in there, Essendon at the end, they knew they were in there with a week to go. Geelong, Collingwood, Hawthorn, knew 4 weeks out we're in the top 4. So it's a dangerous situation to be in, but it probably says a lot about the competition.
Just on that then, we thought we'd have a look at the top 8 sides and when they've played each other this year, and that's the result of it. Collingwood have lost just the 2, Geelong have lost the 3. Obviously beating Collingwood twice but losing to 3 other teams. Hawthorn likewise have lost just the 3 but have only won 5. West Coast are 3 and 5, so the rest are negative splits there, 3 and 5, 4 and 6 for Carlton. St Kilda, I guess, the one that stands out is only 2 and 8. So I'm not sure what it tells us, but it's interesting to have a look at anyway.
It is, and you look at even Collingwood playing 11 top 8 sides and other teams only playing 7 or 8.
Really drains you. That first 10, 15 minutes, I can't, and I still get it now, but it absolutely takes it right out of you to the point where you feel nausea, you feel... it's a strange feel. It really is. It's something that you can't describe, and you can't wait for that quarter time where you can get in on the ground and at least get some air into you and that sort of stuff. So,
well, wouldn't you want to coach? Great feeling.
There's the times that you'll see it. It'll be huge, that's for sure. The Eagles are in pretty good form and they'll put the pressure on the Pies. Let's find out what they've done at selection. And the Magpies have brought all the 3 big guns back in. Davis, Shaw, Maxwell for Fasolo, Sinclair and Wood. And let's have a look at their lineup. Buckley, Sinclair and Fasolo are the emergencies. No surprises there, Lloydie?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. And but that half-back line, Mick, few injuries. Maxwell, Terrence Shaw, let's hope they all stand up for you.
So do I.
Let's look at the Eagles before we talk about this game further. And as I mentioned, Kerr comes in along with Schofield, McGinnity and Smith, who is listed as being out with a hamstring injury. So there's the West Coast lineup. Hams, McGinnity and Shepherd are the emergencies. All right, Scotty, the burning question for you. Can this forward line, which is a mixture of, it's a lot of talls, but a few mediums and smallers as well, help the Eagles potentially cause a boil over?
Oh, they could. They've been fantastic all year. They've been really, really good. But look, we were just speaking with Mike. We're expecting a cold, wet, dirty day at the MCG on Saturday, which isn't going to play into their favour much at all. And I just think Collingwood have got the right matchups for West Coast weapons. So, look, they're going to be a handful, and the Collingwood defenders are going to have to be at their best. And, you know, with question marks over Maxwell and Tarrant's ankle and those guys, you hope they stand up.
Well, before we asked Mick about that, we did ask you to do the matchups, and we love to watch Mick's face as he watches you try and take his job.
Yeah, it's easy to do. I mean, it's absolutely easy. But have a look at Reedy. He expected to take Josh Kennedy, and I think they just match up beautifully well against each other there. Mick, you agree? Just chip in.
Oh, yes, totally agree with that.
Darren to play on Jack Darling. Jack Darling's been terrific. Tarrant's been absolutely sensational as well. Hopefully his ankle's okay. Harry O'Brien's a good matchup for LaCroix. Maybe he's Shaw as well, but I think H...
played on him a few times before.
There we go. There's 1 out of 3. Just keep giving me some love here, Coach.
On there, Scotty. But Mick, what about Nikoski and the importance? I'll jump the gun here a little bit. Nick Maxwell, Mick, he's training through the week. Did he... Obviously did enough.
He's trained pretty... He's been able to run for a start. And you'd understand this. You've broken your thumb before. Once you get into hospital and you get your thumb into a position where you can relatively pain-free, you can run. So he's been running. He's hardly missed a game since early in the season, and he got the clearance last week, wasn't this week. So he's been around ready to go.
Maxwell, because they don't go to Lynch as the #1 man anymore, and that's probably why he's having a pretty decent season, Quentin Lynch. Nick Maxwell doesn't have to play so tight on Lynch and can actually still afford to leave him and go and help out other defenders.
Yeah, it's a fair call. Won't play on him all, but anyway.
I was on fire.
No, he probably will. He probably will, because you're giving everything away, aren't you?
Yeah,
of course you are. You should be on our match committee.
Well, Shaw is one that obviously hasn't played since July 10, but he looks in great nick, you have to say this. Lloydie, he looks in good shape.
And I was told too that Anthony Rocker went with him. How did he lose any weight himself?
I thought Scotty must have gone with him.
But
no, it's a credit to him. You know, he knows the mistake he made. He made up with it with his training. He's in excellent nick, both running and also with the ball.
Do you feel there's any... There's some... We'll look at... He might play under Nikoski there, Scotty.
It's a good matchup, I think, that
certainly.
Do you think there's the cumulative total of bringing them all back, bringing them all back in, did you consider that as being any risk factor at all?
There is a risk. Clearly there's a risk because Nick's missed 4 matches or 3 matches, and Heath's missed 8. But the bonus to it is they've all been able to run, and Heath's been training and also playing match practice for now 2 or 3 weeks. So if it's not match practice, it's one-on-one. So I don't have any great fears about them getting through. The blokes I'd worry about would be players that have been out with a foot injury or a leg injury of some description, and they can't get out there and run because the grind is one thing, but touch is so important. And if you've got a suspended player, you pump him with the football, and he's also can run. Nick Maxwell, the last 2 or 3 weeks, been able to put the ball into his hand, but he's been able to run the whole lot. So it is just the match, and it is final. So we are under no illusion whatsoever. We go up another step. Our interchange will be used frequently to accommodate that.
Speaking of touch, do you think Chris Dawes is just about ready to go in terms of he's had a couple of games back?
It's been rare to have 3 players break something in the hand and have plates and screws put in. Forwards in particular who do need to be able to feel that ball into their hand. Chris Dawes has been training very, very well in terms of that one-on-one contest. I think he's straightened us up already. Yeah. I think he's taken a little bit of away from Travis. Travis had to work so hard, both in a box formation, not realising we did have some help there for him, and he wasn't really prepared to, I suppose, sacrifice that. Whereas he sees Chris Dawes there. We've had Woody around him, so therefore we've got that height factor where it takes the pressure off Cloakey.
Scotty, you've done the top 10 midfielders of importance in the game.
And I need some time to explain this too, quite clearly, because I'm going with importance in the game, OK, and considering the conditions and what they need to do. So obviously Swanee is just a workhorse, and like I said, I'll reiterate again, cold, wet day at the MCG. Luke Ball's importance, getting in the ball out to Swan and Pendlebury and those players is massive. Don't boop,
I want to know, but how the 2 West Coast ruckmen get in there, but the Collingwood one can't?
I said it because it's based on importance and form.
Are you worried
about that it's form? Because let's be honest, you're going to ask Mick now about Jolly.
Are you worried about Jolly's form at all?
Yeah.
No, I'm not worried about his form.
You're not?
No, I'm not worried about it. We've purposely given Cameron Wood as much time as we can, and I think that has taken a little bit away from the shine of Joel. Cameron Wood's a better forward, ruck and forward, and Joel's a better ruck and goes occasionally forward. So we've purposely mixed that up to give a good 50-50, and I think it's probably detracted a little bit from his overall. He's a workhorse. He likes to work the whole ground all day. I have no fear about his form.
What are you giving out of 10 for that top 10 then? What are you giving out of 10?
Well, if you cut it off at number 3, I'd be happy just to take those 3 and forget the rest. But
so no matchups and 3 out of 10.
We know Mick's tip. Scotty, your tip?
Yeah, Collingwood will win.
Confident?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. That's a
Lloydie, your tip, but also just give us 20 seconds on what West Coast have to do to actually cause an upset.
I think it all stems from the midfield. I think that I've seen Kerr coming back fit. I think Shuey has to stand up. I think Gaff, all these young...
Yep.
There's a lot of West Coast players who haven't played a final, so I think it's their top end have to perform at their maximum, and these young blokes have to come along with them.